a burgeoning class consciousness growing in the country, which is pretty cool because it's showing, hey, you can have a message that is in defiant opposition to the powers that be, to the structures of capitalism. And that can be a winning message, even in a place like New York, which they say, oh, that's just New York. That's not, you think New York is any less capitalist than Oklahoma?
It's the capitalist center of the world, isn't it?
It's the capital of capitalism, right? Like, these people are crazy. They think that kind of a message isn't going to win all over the country, because he stood up, he's standing up for LGBTQ rights and minority rights and all this different stuff. But also at the end of the day, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense to people all around the country. And so if you can have a message that talks about putting, food on their tables and money in their pockets, I mean, I think that really matters. And that's what a lot of people, if you don't remember this, guys, Republicans did not like Donald Trump at the beginning of that 2016 primary race.
That's right.
Right? Like, people did not like him, but he came out with a quote unquote populist message. I think it was insincere and fake, obviously.
Absolutely.
But a message that talked to people about bringing jobs back to America, bringing, creating more financial stability, fixing the health insurance problem, which he says he has a plan coming out like in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks.
He's got concepts of a plan
2015,
again.
Concepts of a plan.
Yeah.
But, because what's interesting is in a place like Oklahoma, where I lived during that election, Donald Trump represents everything that evangelical Christianity morally was against.
Right.
And so a lot of people wondered, like, well, how can they turn a blind eye to this? Well, there was enough racism lumped in there that made them feel comfortable that they were able to be open to hearing his message. Well, I think that people are all over the country, partially because of the victories of people like Donald Trump and the rhetoric of some of those folks. They're primed and open for a message, an anti-capitalist message, actually. And so, my take on this is it's a nice victory, but what most people do, and I know this from being in business and working in sales, what most people do when they start to get a little bit of momentum, Josh, they take their foot off the gas. When they start winning a little bit, they stop doing the things that help them to start win. And so what we need to do is realize, we got to put pedal to the metal. This isn't like celebrate, but this is time to get out there and organize even harder, to have those conversations, to push that buck. People are curious. Why did people vote for Mamdani? How did he win? Anybody who understands this should be relentless in pushing the message. He won because he talked about meeting people in their pocketbook. And at the end of the day, that's what people want and need.
Yeah, and I think this is the sort of discourse that we need in the aftermath of the election, because I keep hearing, and this is my own problem for listening to CNN or listening to the New York Times podcast, just because I want to understand what they're talking about. But I'm like, I need to throw that shit out, because they're asking the wrong questions. They're asking, what does this mean for Donald Trump? They're asking, what does this mean for the Democratic Party? Is he going to be the face of the Democratic Party, which I know you're going to touch on in the future. But the question that we should be asking is, what does this mean for the people in New York?
That's right.
What did the people say that they wanted? If we're in a democracy, the question we should be asking is not who are the politicians now, like what is going to shift in their position? What's going to shift in their perspective? But we need to ask, what does it say about the people, and how do the people want to be governed as a result of this?
That's exactly right. The question is always, this whole election has been, well, how's this going to make rich people feel? Are billionaires going to want to leave? Here, I saw a hilarious clip from The Daily Show. They went back to like 2010 and they showed like a clip from every year of people talking about, oh, it's getting, their taxes are too high in New York. All the rich people are going to leave. All the millionaires are going to leave. Every year since 2010, that in these clips, I bet it was happening before then. And then they showed the amount that there's like 33,000 more millionaires living in New York City than there was when that started. What's interesting to me, though, is why aren't we talking about what's going to, if we don't do something different, what's going to happen to all the regular people? All the regular people are going to leave. You think New York can survive being an empty city that's just a husk shell for a few elite? Who's going to work all those jobs? Who's going to do it? It doesn't make any sense.
Why are we asking the question, when are the rich people going to leave? When if the city is too expensive, and I lived there, it was expensive as hell. I couldn't stay there because it was too expensive. I'm a regular person.
Yeah, you had to, prime example, Exhibit A.
I was there. It wasn't because they was taxing a millionaire.
That's right.
I'm not no millionaire. I'm a regular person. It's too expensive.
The other aspect of that too is, they're like, well, how's he going to get all of this stuff done? He can't unilaterally raise these taxes. He's going to need the governor's support. He's going to need the state assembly support. Okay, well, guess what? There is a wide popular base of support for the things Zohran said he's going to do. Those people, if they want to be obstinate and defiant of that, then they can say goodbye to their positions.
Absolutely.
And that's who they should really be scared of. Because at the end, what did we just show? All these billionaires can donate as much money as they want, but when class consciousness rises within the people, and we actually can just assert our power through our democracy and vote in what we want, they should all be very scared about opposing those positions.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting as well to see, again, the rich folks are trying to kind of control the discourse, right? And they've been doing this for years. We know Washington Post is owned by the former CEO of Amazon. We know that Elon Musk has taken over X. And so it's very clear that they want to control the narrative. And even CBS has now kind of been taken over and moved in a different direction. Donald Trump is very clearly trying to control the narrative of what happens in the political realm. But I saw a few clips that are interesting to me. One from Elon and then another from the CEO of Palantir, which it's kind of, it feels to me a bit like sour grapes, right? Like they didn't get what they wanted. They put all this money into making sure that Andrew Cuomo won. They didn't get what they wanted. So now they're kind of
millions of dollars.
They're trying to piss on the working class or regular people, even people that are middle class, right? And they're like, oh, these people have luxury beliefs, is what they call it. These people don't know what they're talking about. All the rich people are going to leave. Let's just play this clip from Elon Musk real quick. You see what I'm talking about? So this is him talking to Joe Rogan, and he's talking a little bit about how Mamdani is a swindler. That's what he calls him. So
a swindler.
When you say Mamdani's a swindler, I know he has a bunch of fake accents that he used to use.
Yeah.
And, but what else has he done that makes him a swindler?
Well, I guess if you say if you say to any audience whatever that audience wants to hear, instead of having a consistent message, I would say that is a swindly thing to do. But he is charismatic.
Yeah, good looking guy, smart, charismatic.
Yeah,
great on a microphone.
Yeah.
And what the young people want to see, like this ethnic guy who's young and
bro, these people can't even get a freaking sentence out, bro.
That's why Elon Musk had to take over X, because he's not going to be able to get anybody on his side just by talking to him.
Oh my God,
he's the most uncharismatic person I think I've ever seen in my life.
And they're just dumb. Like at the end of the day, they don't even know how to talk. He sounds like that's how Peter Thiel talks every time he talks.
Yeah,
that's the pot calling the kettle black. A swindler is somebody who just says whatever people want to hear. Elon Musk has been telling us we're going to get all these different things 6 months from now for the last.
We're going to get these AI robots that can go into our house and do our dishes.
Yeah, we're supposed to be on Mars by 2024. He's supposed to have landed on the moon in 2024, which he got a bunch of money from the government for that project. By the way, he spent it almost all. We're nowhere near getting back onto the moon with that project. It's crazy, bro.
So if anybody's swindling, it's him. But let's play this. This is the CEO of Palantir talking about why his response to Zohran Mamdani winning.
I think the average Ivy League grad voting for this mayor is highly annoyed that their education is not that valuable, and the person down the street who knows how to drill for oil and gas, who's moved to Texas, has a more valuable profession. And I think that annoys the fuck out of these people.
He's saying that people are upset because the degree that they were told by his class of people to get is no longer as valuable as it once was.
Right.
And he's saying that they're pissed because of that.
Right.
Shouldn't they be pissed?
Yes.
Why wouldn't they be pissed?
Exactly.
So him and Elon Musk, and I've seen other people, and we'll get to.
Bro, this guy, by the way, is a straight ghoul. Like, everyone in America needs to go just watch. Like, honestly, he should stop doing interviews because he's lost the plot. And he says that stuff out loud all the time.
Does he think he's being persuasive?
I don't know, bro. I saw him the other day say, like, you know what my job is at Palantir? Palantir's job is to make Americans feel safe. And the way we make Americans feel safe is you feel safe if you know that I can kill the people that scare you.
That's insane to say out loud.
Bro, these people are cartoon comic book villains,
right,
bro.
It's mask off. They don't care. They're not trying to hide their intentions anymore. They know. Well, at least they feel like we've got the power, we've got the control, so now we can just say whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
And people just got to deal with it.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
It's insane. But again, back to the point, like he's pointing out, and I saw there's a guy on Twitter named Rob Henderson. He's kind of a little bit more right wing, and kind of plays in that Rogan sphere podcast land universe. But he talks about this idea of luxury beliefs, and he talked about it in the context of a lot of different things in the past. But he called out Zohran Mamdani and his supporters for having luxury beliefs, and he's calling out socialism as a luxury belief. And from his perspective, a luxury belief is a belief that people hold to accrue status, but they're not going to necessarily feel the unintended consequences of this belief. So he thinks that socialism is going to disproportionately hurt the working class, but these rich, high-class individuals are virtue signaling socialism to gain status.
I see.
I think there's a lot of bullshit in this argument.
It sounds like it's entirely bullshit to me.
For one, the people that he's calling rich are these quote unquote Ivy League grads. People making a lot of money, mind you.
Yeah.
But they're not the fucking CEO of Palantir.
Yeah, right.
They're not Elon Musk.
They're still working class.
They're still working class. And a lot of them aren't even able to get jobs now. You've seen Harvard Business School. Their graduates are having a harder time than ever finding jobs. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people who are starting to see capitalism, which would have historically worked for them, is not working anymore. So he calls them out as having luxury beliefs. So that's one problem. Another problem is it's back to this like anti-intellectualism, because he says these people are overly educated. Right. And so they've got too much schooling. They've read too many books. And so they've somehow been miseducated into thinking that socialism is going to work. When it's back to Donald Trump. He says he doesn't like smart people. He likes people that are not dumb, that are not educated, because they're easier to manipulate. They're more easily propagandized. And so I think this idea of luxury beliefs, when pointed out to someone like a Zohran Mamdani, both his supporters and him himself, it's a misnomer. Because I think if people learn and study and understand socialism, they're not doing so because it's something that is going to accrue them a better life.
Right.
What about socialism is going to accrue you a better life? You may, quote unquote, get social capital in some respects, but I don't even think you get that much social capital in America for being a socialist.
No. There are people watching this right now that are like probably have already clicked off because
we said socialism.
Because we said socialism and we seem like we're for it, right? Yeah. If anything, it's a deficit to you in this country,
right?
And it's people like that. They're functioning off of a non-definition of socialism. Yeah. Like they're hoping that nobody, and they themselves probably actually just don't actually know what it means, right? Because even Mamdani, right? He might personally have socialist beliefs. He might believe that the best structure for our economy be a socialist structure, but none of the policies he's purporting are socialist policies, right? Like he's purporting what we call social democracy, right? Which is different than even democratic socialism, right? And so, really just a better, a softer social safety net within the system of capitalism.